What's up, runners? Coach Morgan here, and today we're talking all things cold weather running. Now, I know what you're thinking. We're here in San Francisco where it looks like a beautiful sunny day, and what do these crazy California kids know about running in the snow anyways? Well, lucky for you, all of us here on the team at the Run Experience are East Coasters, and we grew up running in the snow. So we are here today to give you all of our best tips and tricks and knowledge about running in the snow and the cold. Let's get into it. The warm-up is super important for any run because it's going to get you into that nice, good run form. Because when we're cold, we tend to hunch over like this. When we're cold, we stand here and we shiver, and then we try to go out the door and run in this really cute hunched over position. No, I want you guys to be nice and tall when we run before any run, but especially before those cold weather runs. And obviously, if you're doing a warm-up before those cold weather runs, you're going to be warmer. So when you head out for those harsh elements, you're not going to notice as much that colder weather coming in. And I always suggest warming up in the outfit that you're going to go out and run with. That way you're able to tell if I'm wearing enough layers, maybe I'm wearing too many if I start to get hot and sweaty. But we're going to talk about layers in a little bit and what you should be wearing for the cold weather. Let's get into a good dynamic warm-up. I'm going to walk you guys through a couple of my favorite drills so that you're ready to hit it. So I got 5 quick drills here for you. We're gonna get a nice full body warm up before we head out the door. First one, super simple. We're gonna do some jumping jacks here. So we're gonna get that nice big stretch up overhead. I want you guys to give me a clap at the top when we go up overhead so I know you're getting that full range of motion. We're gonna do a big jump out to the side, get a little lateral motion there. So we'll just be here for 30 seconds. Making sure you're keeping that core on nice and tight. You don't have to move super quick through this, just getting some motion in there. Then you're gonna go right into 30 seconds of high knees. So we're just getting those knees up as high as we can, nice and quick. Nice big arm drives us here too. Once again, we're keeping that core on nice and tight. We're just trying to get that heart rate up a little bit. After the high knees, we're gonna go into 30 seconds of butt kicks. Get a nice little running motion here with the upper body, standing up nice and tall. Remember, we're practicing that here, trying to get the heels up to try to hit that butt as much as we can. The next one we'll go into here is a nice little high kick and stepping it back into a reverse lunge. Now with these, you want to make sure you're giving yourself a nice distance here, about hip width apart. Don't worry about kicking up too high. We're just trying to get a little motion in here, stepping back, kicking up. We're also working on a little bit of balance as well too. We'll do 30 seconds here on each side. Also making sure that when we're stepping back into that reverse lunge, we're not stepping back so far. We want that knee to drop right down here. We also want to make sure that this knee is not going over top of this front foot. The last one we'll do here, just get a little bit more lateral motion and kind of shake everything out a little bit. You can do this while holding onto something in front of you. If not, we're gonna use our arms for a little bit of help. And we're just gonna get some lateral leg swings here. Kind of shake everything out. Once again, 30 seconds on each side. And you can run through that 2 to 3 times, whatever is kind of get that heart rate up, maybe move a little quicker, a little bit more intentionally the next time through. But we just want to get that heart rate up so that we're getting warm and getting out the door so that we can be in that nice, good run position as we talked about earlier. Our heart rate's up, we're warm, and we're ready to go. So let's talk about layering. Let's talk about what you want to wear on these cold weather runs. As I said before, you want to wear the outfit that you're going to go run in while you're doing the warm-up. That's going to tell you if you're too hot or too cold. And now you might be thinking, well, so what if I'm too hot? Isn't that the point? Like, I want to be warm when I go out into the cold. But we want you guys to be working hard out there. We want you to sweat, but we don't want you to overheat out there. I've unfortunately fallen victim to that many a times growing up on the East Coast, up in Buffalo, and having to run and just starting to sweat so much that I end up ripping off layers and becoming too cold because now I'm also drenched in sweat and I'm wet and I'm cold, and that's no fun. So we don't want you guys to go down that road. Now, cold is a relative term, so I'm going to go over my personal best suggestions for what you should be wearing in different temperature ranges. Let's start out with 40 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 to 10 degrees Celsius. Personally, As you can see, I'm team shorts for these kinds of weather temperatures. You may want to put on a pair of capris if this is a little too cold for you, or if it's a little wet, a little windy, a little rainy. I also like to wear arm sleeves, ones with the little hand holders here, so that my fingers can stay warmer. But also if I'm getting too hot, I have the opportunity to roll these down so that I can breathe a little bit here. All right, so let's talk about 30 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or -1 through 4 degrees Celsius. This is the time that you're gonna wanna put some pants on. Maybe they're a little fleece lined if you're on the cooler side of this temperature range, and you're definitely gonna wanna start to cover up your fingers and your ears here. We lose the most heat through our head, and our fingers tend to get the coldest first, and our toes, because our body is prioritizing all of our essential organs on the inside here. So it's pumping all the blood, keeping this area, our core, warm, and not really worrying about our fingers and toes. I know you can't see, have a little bit of a warmer sock on. I've moved from a thin sock to kind of a thicker sock to keep my toes warmer. Now we're getting into our freezing temperatures. We are at 20 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit or -6 to -1 degrees Celsius. We are gonna be adding some extra layers here. We're finally starting to layer up. I have this just outer shell here. This is waterproof, so especially if I'm in some wet, rainy conditions, that's really gonna help keep me dry. I also still have my gloves on here, but I've chosen a shirt, long sleeve underneath, that has the thumb holes in it. And for this one, where I wear my watch, I have just taken the thumb hole, moved it back so I can still see my watch, still making sure that I'm on course and on track. I've also added a buff around my neck. This is gonna help just to also keep my neck warm, but I can put it up over my nose, pull it up behind my ears, and breathing in that warmer air is really helpful. Whenever you're out and it's starting to get that freezing temperature, that really cold air hitting the back of your neck and breathing up and through your nose can be a little painful sometimes, so this is gonna help alleviate that. I've also added some longer socks on here. I haven't doubled up on my pants quite yet, but I've put some warmer socks on here. I've actually doubled up on them, so I have a thinner pair underneath, really to keep my feet dry, especially if I'm gonna be out and it's snowing and raining, to keep my feet from not being wet. Last group right here, we are talking below 20 degrees Fahrenheit or below -6 degrees Celsius. It's really cold out now. I have added an additional thermal long sleeve shirt underneath my layer here. So I got this on, that's gonna keep me nice and insulated. It's a nice tighter fitting one to keep all that warmth inside. I still have all my headgear up here. I might even want a more fleece lined headgear or a hat in general, just to kind of keep the top of my head warm. I have also added a pair of pants on. These are sweatpants. These are thermo over top of my leggings that I had on before. Just want to stay as warm as possible, so as many layers as you want on. But remember, we want to dress like it is 10 degrees warmer outside than it actually is. Like I said earlier, we don't want to overdress, so keep these outfits on while you're warming up. See how you can move in them, see how it feels. If you start to sweat a lot, maybe shed down a layer. Now, once you get down into those freezing temperatures, a lot of you are going to be encountering snow. So I want to talk about that really quick. Similar to running in the rain, you probably are going to want some kind of outer shell. I am always suggesting bright colors, because if you go out and it's just maybe like a light snowfall and really pretty, it could turn really quickly into a nor'easter and a complete whiteout. Cars are not going to be able to see you, other people are not going to be able to see you, so having bright clothing on is really important. Having little flashy lights are super important as well too. Just making sure you're safe out there. Also, this is windproof, so it's going to keep me warm as well too. Another great accessory you could add in for snow running is, first of all, just having yourself some nice trail shoes, give you a little bit grippier when you're working on those slippery conditions. Also, adding in a gaiter on top of your shoes right here. My trail shoe right here is equipped for the gaiter, so it's got a nice little metal clip here ready to be attached, and it's got some Velcro on the back. But if you're not a trail runner and you don't have trail shoes, that's okay. This regular running road shoe right here is not equipped for these gaiters. So what you're gonna do is use this little clip here, go underneath the shoelace, and they give you some nice Velcro that you can stick it on the back of your shoe here and bring it over. This is gonna keep any snow from getting down into your shoe, or if you have taller socks on, it's gonna keep those dry, keeping your foot dry and keeping you happy. Another thing about the snow that some people don't tend to think about is you could potentially get a sunburn out there on super sunny days with the reflection off of the snow. I know a lot of people who have gotten sunburns while on a run. So have yourself equipped with some sunglasses, and just because it's winter doesn't mean we're not going to be applying sunscreen. That'll keep you safe out there and keep you protected. So we've talked about how to warm up and prepare for your run and what to wear on your run, but what do you do when you get back from your run to stay warm? Now, I know your immediate response is probably like, I'm gonna just jump in a really hot shower. But if you come back and your fingers are so cold and frozen in your toes, when you step into that hot shower, it's gonna hurt. I do not suggest it at all. My suggestion, come back, get off all your wet, cold clothes, put on some warm ones. Yeah, you're gonna be dirty and you're gonna have more laundry later, but it's gonna save you in the long run. Get those on, do some light stretching, kind of move those fingers around, roll those shoulders back, get yourself back into that nice position, maybe do some light yoga. While I'm doing that, I have some tea brewing, some hot coffee, something like that, hot liquids to kind of warm you up on the inside. Then get in the shower, de-thaw yourself. It'll feel a lot better afterwards, I promise. Now, unfortunately, one thing I see a lot of in cold weather running is dehydration from runners, because it's so cold that they don't want to put more cold liquids into their body by drinking water consistently throughout the day, or on their runs they don't want to take off their gloves and try to find their water and drink it out there. They just want to get through it. So my number one nutrition tip to you is drink more water. Try to do it throughout the day. Add in some hot teas, hot liquids like that to at least help so it feels warmer. But I'm not a nutritionist. Luckily for you, Coach Elizabeth is, and she did a whole video on cold weather running nutrition. Check it out over there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Happy running out there.